The power of mind are like the rays of the sun. The power of mind are like rays of the sun. When they are concentrated, they illume. When they are concentrated, they illume. By Swami Vivekananda. Hi everyone, this is Akshay, Faculty of Mathematics, Vivek Vidya Youth Forum, New Delhi. In this particular session, we will be taking example numericals based on the concept of completing the square method. I repeat, in this video lecture, we will be taking about the example numericals based on completing the square method and few application numericals of quadratic equation formula. We will be taking few application numericals of quadratic equation formula. Let's get started. Let me just take the pen for a minute. So they have given solve the example 3 by the method of completing the square. Example 3 was actually based on the second method, factorization method. So the equation given in example 3 is this. This is the given equation in the example 3, which we have solved in factorization method. So what you have to do in completing the square method? First step involved in completing the square method is coefficient of x square. Coefficient of x square should be 1. Coefficient of x square should be 1. So in order to make the coefficient of x square to be 1, divide the complete equation by 2. You get this as the equation. You get this as the equation. Now you consider this equation and make sure you complete this square. How to complete this square? First step involved is, I don't know how I have solved over here, but usually what we do, we take the constant term equal to 0, we take this to the other side. Okay, in the first step, we take this to the other side and we add, and we had plus 5 by 4 the whole square on both the sides. On both the sides. Regularly we do this. But in this case, what I have done over here is, let me just clear the screen. Just a minute. In this case, what I have done, I have added and subtracted. For this, I will write a statement over here. Add and subtract. Add and subtract 5 by 4 the whole square. Add and subtract 5 by 4 the whole square. So if you add 5 by 4, then the equation becomes, add and subtract, then the equation becomes x square minus 5 by 2x plus 5 by 4 the whole square minus 5 by 4 the whole square plus 3 by 2. If you see, this is of the form of x minus 5 by 4 the whole square. Remaining part, you take it as such. That's what we have done in this particular step. That's what we have done in this particular step. Later on, carry this part down below as such. Then simplify this. Upon simplifying, we get this as the step. Done. Therefore, this is the quadratic equation, which can be rewritten as this. We can rewrite that equation in the form of this. Okay. So the roots of this equation are the roots of this equation. Roots of this equation and this equation are the same. So now, if you have done using the method which I have taught in the introductory class, by this step, you would have got it as x plus 5 by 4. It's not x plus 5 by 4. I'm sorry. X minus 5 by 4 the whole square is equal to 1 by 16. You would have got this. And in the next step, what we will do, we will take square root on both the sides and we will get x minus 5 by 4 equals plus or minus 1 by 4. Then we will take this on to the other side and solve. Right? This is regularly. If you would have done in the method what I have told. Else, this is an alternative method. I think so. This I have taken it directly from NCERT textbook. So only it is a bit complicated in this step. If it is given in this way in the NCERT textbook, I suggest to follow this. If not, you can follow the method which I have taught in the introductory video also. Let me just check on to the other questions as in when we move further. If it is the same kind, if it is repeated the same way, which is complicated, let me just cut down that and there. Right. So this can be written in this way. This equation can be written in this way. So then, as I have told, sorry. As I have told, taking square root on both the sides, you get that. So then what happens? You have shifted this. Oh, sorry, not this step. You have shifted this portion towards this side. Okay. So the shifted one, you get it like this. So either it can be this form or this form. So x can have the roots 3 by 2 or 1. Therefore, the solutions of the equation are x is equal to 3 by 2 or x is equal to 1. You can verify this by putting in the above equation. Verification they have told, I'll leave that part to you since I have solved it already. You can just go through it. You put x as 3 by 2, you have to get it as 0. You put x as 1, you have to get it as 0. Which is correct. And similarly, you verify by putting x in the above example. Okay. So this is actually the explanation. Explanation for the equation. Explanation for the equation, actually this is. So yeah, how to complete the square. These are few steps also, few tips also. I would suggest instead of I saying or I just reading out this, you can self understand. Instead of multiplying throughout by 2, we can make it this way also. We can, first term can be made like this and then complete the square. So this is an important point. If I have put a star mark, it says it's important. We can see that the same method is used in the next example. What is the next example of? Let me just see. Yeah, even here also they have complicated a bit. I don't know why NCERT has done. So I have written the same way. The roots of the equation. This is the equation which is asked. So as I have told, complete the square. So wait, completing the square method now. So why am I multiplying to? So yeah, this is the other method what we had studied over here. Just you can see, you can multiply and the they we have told, right? So you're using that form they have done. So if you multiply throughout the equation, this equation 5x square minus 6x minus 2 equals 0, multiply throughout by 5. You get this. Okay, then start completing the square. This is known as 5x square basically, and then this can be written as 2 into 5, 5x into 3, 2 into 5x into 3, and then add and subtract 3 square in order to complete, and write this as such. So you see, this portion becomes an identity of 5x minus 3 the whole square. Remaining portion, write it as such. Solve this over here. You will get it as minus 19. Take this minus 19 onto the other side. Okay, you get this. Then take square root throughout. Take the square root throughout. So you get this. Put minus 3 onto the other side. You will get 3 plus or minus 19. Next step. So x can be written as 3 plus or minus root 19 divided by 5. Therefore, the roots are 3 plus 19 plus root 19 divided by 5, 3 minus root 19 divided by 5. So this verification can be done by substituting both of them in the equation. First you substitute this, you have to get 0. Then if you substitute this, you will get 0. Then you are verifying it. In the next question, yeah, 4x square plus 3x plus 5 equals 0 by completing the square method. Here they have specified. If not specified, you can solve it by any other method also. So yeah, nothing can be done, but we have to. So they have only already, this is in the forum, 4x square can be expressed as 2x the whole square, and then 3x, I think so. Yeah, 3x can be expressed as 2 into 2x into 3 by 4, and then 3 by 4 the whole square plus 3 by 4 the whole square minus 3 by 4 the whole square in order to complete the square, and take the 5 as such over here. So we can see this part of the solution makes an identity over here, and the remaining part you are taking it down. Keep this as such. Solve the remaining part. The solved remaining part, you see, when you take it on to the other side, or when you take it on to the other side, we see this part is less than 0. This part is less than 0. But the square of a number cannot be negative of any real values of x. It cannot be negative. It cannot be negative. So there is no real roots which satisfies the given equation. These kinds of questions might also be asked to find the roots. Even though you don't get the roots, don't get tens. Don't get tens. Even though if you don't get the roots, don't get tens. Try to solve it. If you don't get, write the reason like this. Okay, I will say you how to write the reason. The expression you will write, it cannot be negative as real values of x. There is no real values, or the roots are imaginary. You can write, instead of this statement, alternative for this statement, you can write imaginary roots. imaginary roots. Don't feel it difficult uh, just because I'm changing few terms, because whatever has been written in blue color ink is what is given in your NCERT textbook, which cannot be changed by me. So I have maintained it as such. I have retained it as such, so that once you go back and once you go through your textbook, you should not get confused that something else is given in the textbook and I have explained something else. I have written something else. So you should not feel that. So I have retained it as such and I am changing it in the separate manner. Alternatively, I'm writing it on the screen. Whatever I write is the alternative way, and I believe and I am confident that if you write whatever alternative way I have told instead of what is given in NCERT will also provide you marks. As far as marks is concerned, you will get marks what you write, whatever I write it as alternative. If you write that also, you will get marks. No need to worry, right? Because that is as per the board pattern itself I am writing. Imaginary roots comes under our unit 4 of our discussion, where the nature of the roots comes. So it's a part of the syllabus. We are including it in a different place. That's it. But in the exam, it's as a whole. We won't be dividing it into units, right? In the exam, it's as a whole, complete syllabus. Whatever you study, you will write. That's it. Right. Next question, 10th one. Represent the situation in the form of quadratic equation and solve it. I think so. I should complete the question, quadratic equations, and solve the, sorry. And solve the equations. And solve the equations. Okay. Yeah. Area of a rectangular plot is 528 meters square. The length of the plot in meter is one more than twice its breadth. Find the length and breadth of the plot. I assume this question we have already solved. I assume this question has already been solved. I think so. We have derived till we get the quadratic equation. Right. Till we get the quadratic equation, I have explained this in the previous lecture sessions. You can go back to the lecture sessions and watch across. We have actually explained them. Let the breadth be x meters, length be 2x plus 1. So later on, the product will be this because they have given area. Area is nothing but product of length and breadth. So this is the quadratic equation. So you have got the quadratic equation in the form of ax square plus bx plus c equals 0. Write the values for a, b, and c. So read the question carefully. Find the length and breadth of the plot, but they have not mentioned which method you have to solve. They have not mentioned which method you have to solve. So one easiest method which has been introduced by NCERT textbook at this part of the syllabus is using quadratic formula. This is our quadratic formula. Quadratic formula. In your textbook, they have taken a derivation for this quadratic formula, and I see in many places, in many papers which I referred back, there are nowhere they have asked the derivation for quadratic formula. Quadratic formula derivation given in NCERT is a reference material for the student if the student forgets the quadratic formula. But I suggest student cannot forget the quadratic formula because we make them practice everywhere. And I always prefer students go back to the questions from the beginning, solve each and every question using all the 4 to 5 methods what we have. the square root method is nothing but known as alpha method, which is actually not included in your syllabus. In R.D. Sharma and Agarwal books, they have given that as a method, but I prefer not to use that because you won't be getting any marks if you use that method. So only I am not teaching that method while solving the quadratic equations in the classroom. So I am not taught that method at all because that won't fetch you anything. It just gives you knowledge, but not fetch you any marks or anything. So keeping our learning as an intention, we can learn that. But I being afraid, feeling that you use that method knowingly or without knowingly in the exam, you lose the marks. Let it not happen. Let us just use the methods which I have told. Let me just say down the methods. First method is factorization method. We all are aware of it. Next method, completing the square, quadratic equation, quadratic formula. Only these four, only these three actually, three methods. Right. Next, substitute A, B, and C values. This is just the substitution step. Usually, formula doesn't carry marks, but we suggest formula should be written. And in the school level, they cut marks for the formula in order to just say you that you have to write the formula, but formula actually doesn't carry marks. We expect you to write formula just because the substitution, in the substitution, you won't go anywhere wrong. Substitution carries 1 mark. Substitution carries 1 mark. And this complete simplification carries 1 mark. And the final result, what you have got, this final result actually is considered as 1 mark. Totally, it's a 4-marker question, I suppose. Yeah, actually 4-marker question. You have to arrive at the equation. Here it's 1 mark actually. And your consideration and all, we consider this as 1 mark. As a whole, it's a 5-mark question. As a whole, it's a 5-mark question. Hope this quadratic formula is actually easy. Since x cannot be negative, here we have got 1 as the negative root. Okay, here we have got as a negative root. Since x cannot be negative, being a dimension, the breadth of okay, here there is some writing mistake over here. So I will write it on the top. It's nothing but plot. Breadth of the plot is 16 meters. Corresponding, sorry, the plot is 60, just a minute, 16 meter. Corresponding length of the plot is 33 meters. Corresponding length of the plot is 33 meters. Question number 11, example 11. Find the consecutive odd positive integer. Sum of those squares is 290. Consecutive odd positive integers. Sum of whose squares is 290. Let the smaller of the two consecutive odd integer be x. Let the smaller of the two consecutive odd integers be x, and the second integer be x plus 2. Sum of the squares, sum of whose squares is equal to 290. Simplification, this is getting the quadratic equation. You have got the quadratic equation. Here they have not specified any method. So I suggest factorization method is not preferred because the numbers are large. One thing, the numbers are large. So factorization method not preferred. So I suggest go either to quadratic formula or completing the square. This is the actual quadratic equation which we have simplified. Quadratic formula is easy. You get the answer quicker. So quadratic formula, this is substitution, simplification, getting two roots, but x is a positive integer. They have given in the question as positive integer. So this is ignored. Therefore, x is 11. I'm sorry, why is this happening like this? I don't know. Therefore, x is 11. Next, does the other number is 13. So the consecutive numbers are 11 and 13. So if you verify later, 11 square plus 13 square, if you do it, you have to get it as 290. This is not required to write in exam. No need. No need in exam. No need in exam. Okay. Let's move ahead further with question number 12. A rectangular park is designed whose breadth is 3 meters less than its length. A rectangular park is designed whose breadth is 3 meters less than its length. Its area is to be 4 square meters than the area of the park that has already been made in the shape of isosceles triangle. Its area is to be 4 square meters more than the area of the park that has already been made in a square in the shape of an isosceles triangle, with its base as the breadth of the rectangular park and of altitude 12 meters, with its base as the breadth of rectangular park and of altitude 12 meters. Find the length and breadth. This is the first time you're reading. Second time, the rectangular park is designed whose breadth is 3 meters less than its length. Its area is to be 4 square meters more than the area of the park that has already been made in the shape of an isosceles triangle, with its base and as the breadth of the rectangular park and the altitude 12 meters. As shown in the figure they have given, but I prefer this thing shouldn't have come in the question. This is actually the figure given in the question, which you see on the screen. Find the length and the breadth. This is the figure given in the question. Let the breadth of the rectangular park be x meter, its length be x plus 3 meters. Therefore, the area of the rectangular park is length into breadth, right? So this is the area. So now the base is x meter. Base of isosceles triangle is x meter. Therefore, the area, total area is half into base into height, 6 meters square. According to our requirement, this area is equal to sum of them. So you get a quadratic equation. So this is the required this is the required equation. So formula, substitution, simplification, getting two roots, but we know x is breadth. Breadth cannot be negative, it's a scalar. So x cannot be negative. So x is equal to 4 minus 1 is ignored. So the breadth of the park is 4 meters and its length will be 7 meters. Length is 7 meters. Why is it 7? So we have taken length as x plus 3. So 4 plus 3 equals 7. So it is 7 meters. Next, verify that area is 28 meters. 28 minus 4 is 24 meters square. Right. We have almost got the area of rectangle and area of the park. Find the roots of the following quadratic equation if they exist using quadratic formula. Here they have specified the method, underline the word quadratic formula. So this is the equation. As I have told, write down the given first. Then compare it with the standard form. I should write over here, I think so. compare with what is this? Just a minute. There might be some glitches over here. Ax square plus bx plus c equals 0. Got it? Yeah. So b square minus 4ac, b square minus 4ac is 1, which is greater than 0. Sorry, which is 1, which is greater than 0. Formula, substitute, simplify, and solve. You will get two roots. The roots are 2 by 3 and 1. Roots exist. Roots exist. For this, I have told you, and I think so. I have explained also, like how can you determine the roots exist or not. But actually, that these questions shouldn't have been put under this section. It should have been put under Unit 4. But unfortunately, NCERT textbook follows this pattern. So I'm forced to put these types of question in Unit 3 only. But quadratic formula, applications of nature of root, whether the root exists or not, is actually Unit 4 of the quadratic equation chapter. I can't help it out. Right. Next. Similar way, solve this across. Let me just write it down. Let me not just explain. You solve it along with me. Quick. Right. Let me just explain it right now. So we have writing what is given, then compare it with the standard form, write the discriminant p square minus 4ac, which is actually minus 4 you get, which is less than 0. So square root of a negative number is imaginary, so we cannot find, so there is no real value for it. So therefore, there is no real roots for the given equation. Roots are imaginary. You have to write all these statements if this type of question is given. If this type of question is given, I repeat, you have to write all these statements, so only you will be given marks. Even though roots are not there, you have to write why roots are not there, like this. You have to explain it in this way. This is how, this would be sufficient if you explain it in this way. Right, next. Try to solve this. Even though solution is there, try to solve. So let me explain this. Write down the given equation, compare it with the standard form, b square minus 4ac, find the value of b square minus 4ac. If you are getting it as 0, then we can conclude that roots are real and they are equal. What does it mean? The roots are real and equal. We get a real number as a root, and those root what we get will be the same. Both the roots which we are getting are the same. So substitute it in the quadratic formula, simplify, you get back the roots. Right. Find the roots of the following equations. So yeah, get this to the standard form first. Get the equation to the standard form. So just a minute. Standard form. Get the equation to the standard form. So this is the required quadratic equation. So then later, write A, B, and C. Compare it with the standard form. Find b square minus 4ac. We get it as greater than 0. What does it mean? Roots are real. Roots are real, but they are unequal. Roots are real, but they are unequal. So this one equation which you have got can be solved using completing the square, factorization, or quadratic formula. We prefer quadratic formula. Solve it, simplify, you get two different roots. Roots are different. Two different roots you are getting. Right. Next. So this is the equation. Again, get the equation to the standard form. Okay. So, yeah, this is the standard form. Here we have the standard form. Here we have the standard form. So steps involved to convert it into standard form are displayed on the screen. If you read it, it's understandable. If you are not able to understand those steps, get back to me using the comment window. Get back to me using the comment window. I will be explaining that how to do that. Okay. I just want to know how many of you are able to understand, follow up the chapters, make an attempt to solve the question, because we are almost coming to the end of the chapter of quadratic equation, and I always assume that by this time students will be able to solve the quadratic equation chapter by their own. They have to solve it by their own. Okay, not even a single assistance is required to solve the question. Just whichever question is given, they should get it to the standard form, compare it with this standard form ax square plus bx plus c equals 0, use the quadratic formula, solve it. If not quadratic formula, use factorization method or completing the square method. Anything is fine. So yeah, again, you have compared it over here. You find it is 12, which is greater than 0. Roots are real and unequal. Roots are real and unequal. We see this is our formula. Substitute, simplify even more further. You get the two roots like this. You have got the two roots. Right. They're real, but are they equal? No, they are not equal. Okay. Question number 15. A motorboat whose speed is 18 km per hour is still in water, takes 1 hour more than more to go 24 kilometers upstream and then return downstream in the same spot. Find the speed of the stream. So yeah, let us assume the speed of the stream to be x kilometer per hour. Speed of the boat to be, they have told 18 kilometers still in water. That is 18 kilometers less. 18 minus x kilometers upstream. This is upstream. So downstream will be 18 plus x kilometers. So the time taken in the upstream will be 24. We know time taken has the formula distance by speed. So how did you get? We know speed is equal to distance by time. So we can say time is equal to distance by speed. Okay. So 24 by 18 kilometers. 24. Just a minute. 24 by 18 kilometers. Similarly, the time taken by the downstream will be 24 by 18 plus x kilometers. We know 24 by 18 minus x is greater than 24 by 18 plus x. So we will subtract it like this. We know if the denominator is less, then when you divide, you will get a greater value comparative to denominator, which is more, right? So only we will subtract and we will end up in getting the answer as 1 hour. Simplify further, get the equation. This is the required equation. Required equation. This is the required equation. Using quadratic formula, then using quadratic formula, write the formula, substitute, simplify, and you will get this answer. No need to worry, children. I will be streaming it down again from the first so that you can copy it down, pause the video. Okay. So one thing, the speed is a scalar quantity and it cannot be negative. So speed cannot be negative. So we can ignore 54. So x is equal to 6 gives the speed of the stream, which is what we require actually, which is what we are requiring. Speed of the stream. So before I say thank you, let me just stream it again from the first. I suggest pause the video, copy down the notes, because notes is the one which you can use during your exam time. You cannot sit and watch all the lecture sessions, right? Copy down the notes. Thank you. Let's meet up in the next session. If you have liked this video, please click on the thumbs up button. Please do share this video. Post your doubts in the comment window. We'll surely get back to you. Thank you.